the DNC and the Kamala campaign knew what my background was, knew what I would talk about. They knew that I was not going to, engage in any sort of editorial control in terms of like censoring myself. If I see something, I'm going to say something, right? Some people are saying they're voting for Jill Stein now. That's hilarious. I mean, do what you want to do, chat. I won't stop you, but you probably got to stab her fired. No, I didn't. You ain't never getting in again. Honestly, after all that bullshit, it might just be down ballot vote for me. No, I'm not. I don't even agree with that, because next time I'll just go as press. Obviously, we started off the week strong. The first day, they just like were completely oblivious to what I do, kind of like in terms of what was necessary, like what kind of needs I had to be able to like conduct these live streams, right? So they were like, okay, well, I knew that wasn't going to work the first day. So I just like started off in the hotel. Then I went to the Palestinian protest. Then we went into the DNC. We did walk and talk. We roamed around in the DNC first day. It was fun, right? Great stuff. Second day, they were like, no, we have access for you. We got a room for you. And I was like, listen, it's not just a room. I need a desk and I need an Ethernet cable. That's it, right? Second day, we started off with a Donnie interview. Donnie actually drove us in. CNN drove us into the DNC. It was sick, right? We rolled in with the big dogs. Not only that, but we set the shit up. We started. We let it rip. You already know what happened. The Obama spoke. Third day of the DNC, I had to leave early, and literally as I was leaving early, they had an even nicer area for me. As you guys know, there was an even nicer area that they had set up right behind the fucking stage. It was crazy. Same area, same space that I have like for CNN. Now the entire time I'm telling them, by the way, like, it's okay if I don't have space. I'll just stream from the hotel. If I have interviews or whatever, I'll come over to the DNC. I'll conduct my interviews and I'll fuck off. I'll go back to my hotel, right? If I want to do my desktop stream. They were like, no. It's better if you're here. It's better if you're inside of the DNC, which makes sense. Like, I'm a fucking, I'm there as an influencer, right? So they wanted me to be there. So I was like, fine, I'll take it. As long as they have space for me, I'll take it, right? So we did it the second day. Ironically, of course, sadly, third day when I was leaving the DNC to go do the Chapo Truanon podcast, it was fucking hilarious because that was the day when Ilhan Omar's team, Sean Fain's team, and AOC's team, all three of them sent me communications being like, oh, we're here now, we can do the interviews now. And that day I wasn't kicked out. So like, I could have technically, if I didn't do the Chapo Truanon podcast, I could have done all of my interviews that day. I could have gotten those out of the way, right? But it is what it is. I'm not upset about it. I love those boys. I'm always gonna fucking roll with them. So I did the pod, live audience. It was great. That was one thing. And then the last day, they're like, no, you got the same space from 2:30 all the way to the end. And I'm like, are you guys sure? It's a big day. Are you guys sure? It's a big day. I understand if there's limitations. Like, I'll just do my thing. I'll do my thing and I'll fucking go back to my hotel room. And they're like, no, you have the space. You have the space. You have the balcony. It's uninterrupted the entire day. Unlike the day before when the Warren staffer came in and was like, you need to get the fuck out. It was like chirping at me. They were like, no, this time you have it fully, right? I was like, okay, sure. That's great. We start off roaming. Okay. We start off roaming with March. We go to the uncommitted campaign, the uncommitted delegates. Remember, these are Democratic Party operatives that are from all around the country. They represent hundreds of thousands of Democratic Party voters that participated in the primary that said, we are uncommitted because of the actions that the Democratic Party is engaging in terms of Israel, okay? In terms of like what they're doing with their unconditional support to Israel. Did you actually get kicked out or is it thumbnail bait? No, I mean, I didn't get fully kicked out. So here's the thing, okay? There are different levels of credentials inside of the Democratic Party. That area that we were at is the lower level suites, right? This is the same exact level that like CNN is on. It's the same exact level that like MSNBC is on. When you see like Jake Tapper and whatever, like sitting in front of that podium, in front of that stage, like they are literally, they're on the same level. They gave me the balcony on the same exact level, which is insane access, okay? And at that point I was thinking like, honestly, like, I mean, those are like, yeah, those are $500,000. Like people pay $500,000 to get those suites. And the fact that I had the access to that level to like show you this background at all, I'm happy. Like I was going to take anything they were giving me, right? Anything and everything that they were giving me, I was taking. Yeah. Chris Cuomo said those suites cost millions of dollars. Someone at the DNC probably said, what the are we giving this guy this great suite who's shitting on us the entire time? Yeah, I know. They didn't obviously like say, fuck off, you're done. We're revoking your access completely. You need to leave the premises. They didn't do that because that would have been a much larger, I think, that would have been a little silly for them to do. But they basically made it so that like, they made it as impossible to stream for me as possible by coming in and saying randomly, out of nowhere, coming in and informing me that I had to leave immediately. Like they were like, you have to clear out immediately. Getting kicked out of the DNC YouTube, like you probably... at gunpoint. There's no fighting back. If they say, when someone says you got to leave this area and like move to a different area, do you know how many Secret permanently space. We're fine. We're fine for now in this. Well, we're not fine for now. We're like literally like we're permanently done here. Bro, that's so whack. Yeah. Sounds like someone gave you that space without permission. No, dude. What are you talking about? You have no. Just stop speculating. Okay? Stop speculating. I'm telling you exactly what happened. I don't know why you're like, it's not enough for me. I don't know why you're like, I know you know better than I do. You were literally there. You have access to so much more information on this process than I do. Stop speculating. I'm telling you exactly what happened. This is what happened. That morning, I interviewed the uncommitted delegates. Okay? These are Democratic Party operatives themselves. People that have fought against Republicans in their own states. People that have positions within the Democratic Party. These aren't like anarchists. These aren't like the protesters outside. These are people who work within the confines of the Democratic Party. These are Democratic Party delegates. That's why there wasn't so many people outside in the protest, because they're not letting everybody in. They're obviously not letting anyone in, as a matter of fact. Okay? They had a Palestinian American. They had multiple Palestinian Americans that had speeches that were pre-vetted and pre-scripted, as always, that would endorse Kamala Harris at the end of that speech, as a matter of fact. Was those were the conditions, right? And they had put forward these speakers, and the Democratic Party was not playing ball with them at all. Kind of fucked up. It's a reasonable demand. It's a moral demand. It's a just demand. It's electorally positive for the Democrats to like show that they're a big tent that also features, Palestinian voices as well. These are American voters, right? These are American Palestinian voters and their friends. These are Arab voters and Muslim voters in key states. Okay. Obviously, I find it ridiculous that they would not, they just wouldn't do anything about that, right? Like they wouldn't let that happen. The UAW was pressuring, donors were pressuring the Democratic Party. A lot of pressure was happening for on the last day to have a Palestinian American speak. They had fucking Border Patrol guys on. They had, like anti-choice Republicans on. They had, like, it's crazy. They had an Israeli American family speak, whose son was being held hostage, which is of course understandable. Like those are families that are suffering. Their voices also must be heard. That makes sense. But to do that and to then turn around and not have any Palestinian Americans, it obviously shows that there's a double standard. And now you have like UAW and other unions also applying pressure as well. And I think they should apply more pressure, as a matter of fact, regardless of the fact that like Joe Biden was very pro labor union and, walked the picket line. Like it's great that he did that, but I think that there's no other way. There's no other way to get the Democratic Party to fucking meet these demands. Pressure from all vectors need to happen in order to get the Democratic to move on this issue, to get the Kamala Harris campaign to move on this issue. I said last night, the attitude from the Dems cannot be, or 2 nights ago, cannot be that these people are simply spoiling the fun. Their demands are moral, reasonable, and just. Forcing Israel to commit to a ceasefire through measures beyond tough talk will also be electorally beneficial to the Democratic Party. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win, okay? It's a win-win-win. Everybody with eyes can understand it. Everybody with a fucking brain can see what's going on. Unless you're completely in a bubble. Do you think it was a space management issue, or was there a problem with you and your ideas? Because it sounds like a big and chaotic event. No, it was straight up about what I said and what I was doing there, okay? Like, this is a gimme for the Democratic Party to even present themselves as though they are pro-Palestinian, as though they recognize the humanity of Palestinian Americans. Like, that's it. Families of the Israeli hostages joined the demand that Palestinians should not be barred from the DNC stage. Both groups demanding ceasefire and a deal to return the captives. To which I, of course, quote tweeted, "Why does the DNC have one speed? This is identical to how Israel does Hasbara Lamal." And I think literally right after I posted this tweet, like maybe 30 minutes after, is when I got booted. I ate the boot right after that tweet. It was less than half an hour. Yeah, it was like, it was very close to after this tweet. I don't know the exact timestamp. Here's the thing. I had a fucking New York Times interview that was being conducted at the time when they were like, yeah, you got to clear the space, which I thought was pretty crazy. Okay. It was like 25 minutes after that tweet, but I still had a New York Times interview that was coming. Ken Benzinger, and we still did the New York Times interview, and then they made me clear out my desk. Underestimated Hasan's power. You were walking around openly declaring you had more consecutive viewers than the big news guys. I mean, I was memeing about that shit. Okay. Anyway, now I know, because obviously there's like a shit ton of people involved in these decisions and like, playing roles in this. But now I know that like there was, I had heard that there was like already a little bit of a difference in opinion with the Kamala Harris campaign, who I believe wanted me there, versus the DNC, which did not think it was a great idea. Okay, there was a little bit of friction, a little bit of tension. And then obviously, like after that, the boss call was the reason that I got exited in a polite manner. It was not like, fuck you, you're out of here, get the fuck out of here, you're done. Okay, it was more so like, hey, you can't be in here anymore. There's a really important person coming in here and we have to clear out the space. Except we're not really clearing out the space. We're only getting you out of this space, right? And when I asked, like, is there another place that I can go to? I have these interviews lined up. I have the Ilhan Omar interview. I have the AOC interview. I have the the Sean Fain interview, like I set all this stuff up with the full knowledge that you guys gave me, that like with the confidence that you gave me that I have this space where I can do these private interviews, like conduct these private interviews. They said, no, you don't have any other place that we can put you to. Also, they said AOC needed the space as their first excuse, not knowing you were the one interviewing her, which is crazy. Yeah, they lied about that. They were like, oh, AOC's coming into this space. I was like, no, she's not. I know she's not because I'm literally talking to her right now and she's stuck behind a fucking motorcade. Yeah, that was also crazy. And then lastly, they were like, oh yeah, we can put you in the meme room that doesn't have even like Wi-Fi. And I know that they were like watching because they obviously stream sniped me because they forgot to take my fucking badge for the lower level suites. And then I brought it up and I said, oh, they forgot to take my badge. Maybe they're not kicking us out. Okay. Maybe they're not kicking us out fully because again, like my press credentials are still there. This is like a different level of access. And they literally right after I said, oh, well, they didn't take my, lower level press credential from me, which means like maybe it is a space issue, right? Like maybe it is actually a legitimate space issue and like we'll be able to recover from here on out. It turns out.
No worries. Someone is definitely fucking watching the stream because I literally said, oh, they didn't even take our credentials away. And then it showed up. Someone is watching the fucking stream.
But just have to watch what you say, I guess, or they'll boot you out for being butthurt. Yeah. No, it wasn't. So it wasn't just that tweet. Okay. That tweet was like the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was my advocacy for having a Palestinian speak at the DNC consistently. It was me wearing a Palestinian flag around my waist, which they consider to be a big no-no, apparently. And also it was the fact that I talked to the uncommitted movement as well. If you knew you'd be kicked out, would you have been less contentious? No. Don't you feel like what they did was worse? They cut off your ability to do your coverage while pretending you were still welcome, honestly? No, I mean, look, my point is this, okay? My point is this. I was never going to like moderate my views or change my perspective because of the unimaginable amount of access I got. And I did get an unimaginable amount of access. It's true. I mean, think about it, dude. There are literally fucking professional journalists and press people and media outlets out there that are spending a shit ton of money, had to spend a shit ton of money to get that level of access that I was able to get. That's huge. So everything I was able to do within the DNC, within the confines of the DNC for the past 4 days, even with the like last day, fuck you, I don't care. I'm very happy about. I'm very happy about it. Obviously, I still was able to do all of this shit and I never took it for granted. You know what I mean? I was able to do all of this and I considered it to be a bonus, right? I would be covering the DNC regardless, even if I was there and I was streaming from the hotel room, or if I was here in Los Angeles streaming from my house, I'd be doing that anyway. So the fact that I was able to do it inside and also get this like level of unprecedented level of access on top of that, an added benefit. The way I look at it is like, I'm happy for everything that I got because I never thought that I would get any of this shit anyway, which is precisely the reason why I think a lot of people were like, how the fuck did they let you in here? Like, why are they doing this?